Brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned, received, or heard from me, or seen in me, put it into practice. And the God of peace will be with you.
Hey Sun Valley, if you're watching this video, you are in a small group, and so let me just say, way to go. Small groups are a really big deal to us at Sun Valley because you can come on a weekend and you can worship together and all of that, but when it comes to following Jesus, it gets complicated, and each person's story is unique, and so being in a small group allows you to take the teaching from God's Word, allows you to take the experiences you have on the weekend and really unpack them in a way that's practical, in a way that is personal, in a way that is real. So glad you're in a small group. And if you haven't yet, and maybe this is your first week back as a small group, whoever's hosting the group, just make sure at some point throughout the night or the morning, whenever you guys are meeting, that you thank your small group host. Hosts, thank you so much for taking the time just to create an environment for people to come together, to gather together, and to talk about God's Word. So right now I'm here at a lake, and this is one of the places where oftentimes I think, man, if I can get somewhere like this, then I'll be at peace. But maybe you've done that, maybe you've hiked out somewhere, you've gone somewhere, but here's the deal that I've experienced. I come to a place like this, and the peace is momentary. The peace lasts about as long as I'm sitting still, but there's still stuff going on in my soul. There's still things. The moment I leave an environment like this, everything kind of goes back to where it was. And maybe you've even had moments where you've gotten here and you've gone, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to experience peace, but then internally, things just don't seem right. Externally, everything might look peaceful, everything might seem peaceful. Maybe you post something on social media and people look at that image and go, man, that person must really be at peace. But what's going on below the surface is that there's all kinds of chaos, there's all kinds of turmoil going. And I think for a lot of us, that's what's going on. We have these moments where it looks like we're at peace. We have these moments where maybe we even look at other people and go, man, look, they're experiencing peace. Yet if we were to just kind of pause for a minute and look a little bit deeper below the surface, we realize a lot of us are longing but not finding. A lot of us are chasing after these things, but we're not actually truly experiencing it from the inside out. And so my hope is, as we kind of go through this series, is that we'll dig below the surface a little bit and not just go, okay, what looks like peace, but what is peace truly at a soul level, from the inside out. So the last couple weeks, Chad's been unpacking this passage in Philippians, and throughout the series, you guys are going to have an opportunity to study this passage, to read through it together. And what Paul is saying is, hey, here's some keys to experience peace in your life. Jesus is called the Prince of Peace. And so it makes sense that as followers of Jesus, we would be at peace. But when you look around in the church, that's not always the case, is it? And when you look around in our own lives, it seems like a lot of times we're anxious, we're striving, we're chasing. And yet, Jesus is the Prince of Peace, so we should be a people of peace. And so Paul writes a letter to the church at Philippi, and this church was not experiencing a whole lot of peace at the time. This church had all kinds of false teaching that was going on, there was debates going on, the church was divided. And so he writes a letter, and he gives some very practical steps to experience peace. And so as a group, you guys are going to be looking at some of the things that Paul writes, and you guys are going to be studying what he gives as wisdom, but kind of the bottom line of where we're going in this series is that in order to experience peace, it begins with peace with God, to be made right with God. And then it's being made right with others, the relationships around us, the people God's put in our life. Life is about God and people. In the end, that's all that matters. It's about relationships. And then the third component is peace with ourselves. Understanding who God made us to be, understanding who we are in the context of God's story, and how our relationship with God affects everything else, including our relationship with ourselves. And so as you guys kind of dive into the content for this week, here's what I want you to talk about in your groups. What are some of the things you've seen people do as they're longing to experience peace? What are some of the things that people are chasing after, assuming and hoping that maybe if they accomplish it, achieve it, attain it, will bring them peace? And then the follow-up question to that is, what do you think will truly bring them peace? So as you look around, as you just kind of observe life and take a moment and pause and go, what are we all doing? What are we all chasing after? What are some of the things we think will bring peace? And then what are those things that we truly believe will bring peace? So enjoy the conversation. Again, so glad you guys are in a group. Really believe God's going to do a lot as you guys open up and talk and are real about what's going on in your life and around your life. And hope you guys have a great conversation. Enjoy the discussion.